Hello YouTube. So I thought I'd jump on today and make a quick video on what I think's happening in the fuel market and why things are plummeting at the moment as far as fuel prices go. We're not talking about the crypto side of things today, just the in-game economy. So basically the last couple of days, since season 1 ended, the fuel prices have been slowly getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and they've kind of accelerated in the last 48 to 24 hours where we're seeing new lows in the fuel market. So basically what happened, the Illuvium team managed to get rid of a whole bunch of bots. They had an AMA the other day, and Kieran explained this. They got rid of a whole bunch of the botters, so there's less bots spending fuel. And at the same time, we've had a reduction in the milestones and missions for people to do every day. So people, I think, are spending a lot less fuel at the moment, so less need to buy. And at the same time, the output of land sellers, as far as fuel has gone, has continued to go up. So we've got a lot of people making more fuel and less people buying it at the moment. So we've got a new low on the fuel price. Now this is even after the patch we had a few weeks ago where they slashed fuel production. So we're still seeing the effects of that, but with the reduced buy pressure, we're getting new lows on the price every day. So in this video, I'm going to sort of show you what I do, because I mean I own at least one of every level of land, so I can see the output of all different types of land. So we're going to go over my strategy as far as buying and selling fuel, because you still can't transfer fuel directly to your wallet. So this is an opportunity to sort of either sell your fuel or transfer your fuel to your own wallet. So I'm going to show you what I do, and we're going to go over the fuel levels that everyone has, that different tiers of land have. So just hang tight and we'll get into it. So the first thing I wanted to cover is the output of the different tiers of land. You can see this little spreadsheet I've made up here. I haven't got my own tier 1 extractor up to level 6 yet, so I'm not 100% certain that's the correct output. So we've got a tier 1 level 6 extractor at a 150%, making 33 fuel a day. According to people I've spoken to in the Discord, that's the maximum output, but I haven't confirmed that myself. I haven't put much time into tier 1 land. It's so low, it's almost not worth even bothering about at this stage. So I believe that's right, but I might be wrong. As far as tier 2 land goes, 3 extractors at level 6, 150%. They're going to have a total output of 150 fuel per day, which isn't very much. So you've got to bear in mind, 150 fuel a day is only one stage 1 run in the overworld. So if you're using a tier 2 land, you're not selling much fuel at this stage. Even the most dedicated tier 2 land players are probably still upgrading their extractors to level 6, and the level 6 extractor upgrade is 100 fuel. That's just to go from level 5 to level 6. So if you're only making 150 fuel a day from your extractors, you can do one level 6 upgrade a day. So the tier 2 guys probably aren't selling any fuel, and if they are, it's a very small amount. My tier 2s are mostly all at level 6 extractors, and the converters are I'm still upgrading them to 5 or 6. So if you're doing that, you're not selling any fuel, and if you are, it's a very small amount. So there's no sell pressure or sell pressure coming from the tier 2 landholders at this stage. And if there is, it's very small, but they are starting to come online. So probably until the last week, they probably haven't sold any fuel at all. And maybe there's a little bit of sell pressure coming from them. So tier 3 is where it gets interesting. Total output per day, assuming level 6 extractors and 150%. And pretty much anyone who's been playing the game regularly and has a tier 3 plot would have their extractors maxed out by now on a tier 3 plot. So they're pumping out 450 a day. So, I mean, they're probably still upgrading their converters as well. They might have some of their converters at level 6. So they probably have a little bit of excess fuel, but they're not going to be selling every day. If they do, they're selling very low amounts, like 100 or 200 per day, and that leaves them enough fuel to do a few upgrades per day. So there's a little bit coming from there. If you're a tier 4 land holder, well, you can get your extractors up to 180%, depending on how your land's laid out. So that's where most of the fuel's coming from there. That'd be minimum 1,350 fuel per day. So most of them would have their extractors up to level 5, if not 6 already. So, I mean, you'd be constantly upgrading your extractors. You've got plenty of fuel to throw aside 100 fuel or 200 fuel, 300 fuel a day even to upgrade your extractors. And it doesn't really affect your output that much. You can still sell 1,000 fuel a day and have plenty left for upgrades. So that's where most of the output's coming. So now we'll take a look at the actual fuel marketplace. If you have a look on here, if you buy 100 Krypton, you're actually receiving almost 300 Krypton. So prices have come right down. You can check the other ones. Hyperion, same. Solon is over 300 per 100 purchase. So prices seem to be continuing to fall, and I don't know whether the Illuvium team will want to step in and slash fuel output again. I don't see how they could do that when tier 1 plots are only producing 33 fuel from their extractors. It would make them very hard to continue developing tier 1 plots and even tier 2 plots to an extent. Like I said, the tier 2 plots are barely making any excess fuel if they're still upgrading their converters. Once they've finished upgrading their converters, they probably have a fair bit of excess, but it won't be enough to move the market really. And there's a lot of people with only 1 or 2 plots of land, so they're not making enough to even play the game really. So if we have a look here, basically, I think a lot of players at the moment are doing their daily missions, and they might do a couple of runs here and there just to have a bit of fun, and then they're logging off the day, and they're not spending a lot of money because there's not that many incentives to play at the moment, especially if you've already caught a lot of your alluvials. I think there's a lot of players that went pretty hard to begin with when the game first launched, especially the whales that got their full alluvial collections, and they're waiting for other reasons to play the game. But your more casual players, probably more like myself, we might have caught all our tier 1s, have most of our tier 2s, maybe a couple of tier 2 stage 3s, and then we've focused on our tier 3 alluvials, and if we're lucky we might have some tier 4s and 5s, but the collection's far from complete. So those guys are sort of doing their dailies, catching what they can when they can, buying the minimum amount of fuel, and if they get lucky or fuel prices drop, they might buy a bit of extra fuel, but they might not even be playing it. They might just be hoarding their fuel at the moment to play later, maybe when there's more incentive to play. That seems like the better value way to do things at the moment. So when I'm buying fuel or analysing the fuel market, I'm looking at it from a seller and a buyer's perspective. So what I usually do is I have a look and see which fuel's selling for the highest amount, and it's usually Krypton. I don't know whether that'll change, because I think a lot of people are converting their fuel to Krypton and then selling it, because obviously everyone needs Krypton, and that's giving you the best price. So there might be a flip in the market at some stage where there's just too much Krypton, and Krypton actually becomes the worst fuel to sell. At the moment, that's not the case. I mean, I'm stockpiling Krypton, and I'm trying to get Solon because I'd like to build some of the weapons in the game that I haven't been able to afford. Like the tier 4, tier 5 weapons are really expensive to make. So I'm trying to convert my Krypton into Solon. So what I usually do, I jump on here, I check the Solon price, and I like to sell in 500 blocks. because if you put it too much higher than that, only half the sell order goes through, and then someone undercuts you, and the buy order or the sell order might just sit there for a couple of days, and you have to cancel it, and then you only get a partial payment. It's a bit of a pain in the ass. So I try and sell 500 at a time. So what I'll do is I'll work out, using the bonus fuel estimator here, how much I need to put in here to make 500 total. So at the moment, let's just guesstimate 140. So that's pretty close. Let's up that. A little bit more. Let's try 65. Oh, that's too much. Oh, still too much. There we go. So that's pretty close to 500. So 500 Solon is selling for 92 cents. So let's purchase that Solon. Go to purchase. I don't think you'll be able to see the pop-up. Orders processing. So 92 cents has got us approximately 500 Solon. I then go to Krypton, which is selling at a higher price. Let's just put 250 in to begin with. So that's way too much. We want to sell 500 fuel, basically. All very close. Okay, so that's about 500. Now that is selling for $1.03 for 500 fuel. So we just spent 92 cents buying 500 Solon, and now we can go to our plot and sell. Let's say we sell for $1.02, so it's the next one to sell. So we go change to sell, select our plot. Here we go. We want Krypton. We put in 500. Let's sell it for $1. That way we can make sure it sells pretty quickly. There. So that's the number to sell 500 fuel for $1. So we've basically converted 500 Krypton. Sorry, 500 Krypton, assuming this sell order goes through, 500 Krypton into 500 Solon, and we make 8 cents worth of Ethereum in the process. So that's how we convert our Krypton into Solon. And eventually, if I do this enough times, I'll have enough Solon to build the weapons I want without having to actually pay an upfront amount of Ethereum to do it. So we'll create this sell order. I've managed to do this several times in a day, over and over and over again. So this is, if you're patient, this is how you do it in order to not waste any of your fuel when you're transferring it to your Passport wallet. All right, so that's in there. Now I'll probably have to wait probably between 5 minutes and half an hour for this to sell, assuming I've set the right price. If I've set the wrong price, it'll stay there for a lot longer. But I think what's happening is a lot of people are sitting on a big bag of fuel. They don't quite understand how the market works or how to see what price fuel is selling for. So they're just dumping fuel, like maybe 1,000 or 2,000 fuel at a time. Maybe they don't have time to work it out. So they're dumping this fuel, slashing the price, and then the next guy comes in, dumps more fuel, slashes the price more. The next guy comes in and does the same. So by doing little micro sales, you can jump the queue, sell quickly, the price goes back up to whatever the last big dumper put it in at, and then you do your transaction and move on. At least that's what I'm doing anyway. And I've managed to convert probably 5,000 Krypton in the last couple of days into 5,000 Solon and make a tiny profit in Ethereum while doing this. I don't know how much longer this is going to be a viable strategy, but if you've got the time to do it, it definitely works. So yeah, give it a go and let me know how you go in the chat. If you've got any other tips or ways on how to sell your fuel and move it to your Passport wallet, drop a comment and yeah, I'll check it out. I'm interested to see what other people are doing. Yeah, so until something in the market changes, and I can't see anything changing in the short term unless the Illuvium team put a bottom cap on the fuel sale price. If they did that, everyone would just be selling at the same bottom price, and I guess it'd just be first in, first to sell. But short of them doing that, the only thing that's going to stop the downtrend in the fuel price is more demand. So more demand comes from more players or the current players playing more. And I can't see that changing at the moment. I mean, from listening to the recent AMAs, everyone's in agreement that Illuvium's not quite ready to start mass marketing or onboarding lots of players. We need to get a few more things sorted before we do that. So we're not going to get new player demand. The only thing that's going to increase demand for fuel is having current players try to buy more fuel or use more fuel. And with the current airdrop situation, I don't see that happening this month. I don't think they're going to change the missions or the milestones this month. It'll be next month or possibly even the month after that. So that means the demand for fuel is not going to change. So we can assume the price is going to keep going down unless some whales step in and decide, hey, this fuel is so cheap, I'm just going to buy tons of it now. Yeah, unless that happens, the price is going to keep trending down slowly, especially with people getting more and more land ready for mass sale of fuel. You know, more every day, people are producing slightly more fuel. So the fuel's only going to keep coming. It's not going to slow down. So who knows how long we'll be in this. So for that reason, it does feel like selling your fuel as soon as possible is the best outcome, because if you don't sell it straight away, it's going to be worth less tomorrow. So you may as well sell it early. But it's a bit like the crypto market. You just don't know when things are going to turn around. All it takes is one announcement from the Illuvium team and, you know, people will start buying more again. So we don't know what's coming or what announcement there will be that might change market conditions. So for me, I just buy and sell a little bit every day, and that's the strategy I use to get my fuel as high as possible. And I'm not even using the fuel that I buy. I'm just stockpiling it. So yeah, once I've got enough Solon though, I'll probably build some tier 4 weapons, and we'll see how we go with that. Anyway, like I said before, if you've got any ideas or thoughts or a better or different strategy, share it in the comments, and we'll all work this out together. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you got to the end, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.